There's still two really prevalent Charlie Kirk assassination conspiracy theories. The theory that I see the most on Facebook especially is the exploding microphone theory. Went out and bought Charlie's exact same microphone to see how this might have been rigged or even a bullet placed inside. We're also going to talk about the theory that Charlie was shot from the side or even from behind him. More on that to come. I've mentioned before why I don't think it's simply just an explosive contained within this microphone. To direct a projectile after an explosion, this is something we've had for hundreds of years. It's a projectile in a chamber triggered by an explosion. It's a gun. If the theory is that there is a bullet contained within this microphone, we can go down the line and rule out any rifle cartridges. You can see 9mm, down to 32, 22, are at least feasible. This is my smallest firearm. It is the Trailblazer Lifeguard 22LR. This firearm has the same footprint as a credit card, at least in size, not quite in thickness. But when you open the life card, this section here is really where the bullet is fired. This is simply the handle. A single shot can be loaded into this chamber, the hammer cocked, and fired. Although this is a very small bullet delivery, it's still not as compact as the microphone. Now, I don't know if there's a delicate way to do this, but I'm going to try to open up this microphone so we can look at the inside of it. This unit is pretty sealed. I don't see any easily accessible seams, so I'm just gonna have to dig out the screen of it. All right, housed inside is this lithium battery. And then we have a circuit board behind that. If we look at the case that we've already destroyed, this is the total volume. Technically enough room for a 22 LR. Just because a bullet can fit inside doesn't mean that the microphone is the smoking gun. This would still need at least some sort of rudimentary barrel to direct the projectile. It would also need a firing pin. I want to mention that if somehow they were able to put a firing mechanism into this microphone, an explosive device of any kind, it would have to work with the internals of the microphone itself because they were live streaming the event at the time. That microphone was picking up audio. And whether it was a bullet or an explosion, we have to look at Newton's laws of physics. Every action has an opposite or equal reaction. So let's assume that a 22 caliber bullet was housed in Charlie's microphone. This is a very light recoil round, but would it still blow off the magnet? To test it, we're going to be using the same magnet that Charlie was wearing on September 10th. Now you might say, hey, that stock magnet that came with the microphone is not the one that was used. It was a stronger magnet. Well, let's test that. This is the original magnet. This is a stronger 60-pound magnet, and this magnet is rated for 100 pounds. Our little single load life card. So even a 22 caliber blew the magnet a few feet away. And we see some blackening from the gunpowder on this very white shirt. 60-pound magnet. The lifeguard doesn't have any slide action. All the gases come out of the muzzle, which is why you'd have this residue. That would be very, very, very similar to if there was some sort of concealed mechanism that fired a bullet in Charlie's mic. Something would be left behind. All right, now I'm going to send a 22 LR hollow point directly through this microphone. Not only is the magnet long gone, but this microphone is absolutely decimated. In fact, it's in 3 pieces: screen, back, I don't know where the innards are, and the clip itself. Now, a lot of people say, how come his shirt puffed out when he was shot in the neck? So we're gonna make the shot and we're gonna check the shirt. I've got 2 different shirts to check it on and see if we get any shockwave that expands the t-shirt. I'm using a soft tip, precision loaded 30-06 round. The reason Charlie's shirt puffed is because of cavitation. This is the inflated cavity that a bullet makes upon entry into soft flesh. We can see this illustrated with the use of ballistics gels. And Range Day Bro just released a video showing neck cavitation. Now, I wish he would have taken the official shot instead of from the side, but we can still see the expansion that likely puffed out Charlie's shirt and created that photo image that looked like armor initially.
The exact distance and angle that we shot this with, as well as the caliber and all that.
Okay, this is testing the side shot theory, which at this elevation, I really don't think you could have seen Charlie. He would have been under cover of that tent.
Once the bullet impacts, you can immediately see that temporary wound cavity, or cavitation as it's been called, and you could see the bullet pulling the gel out as we saw on 910. That temporary wound cavity then snaps the chain in the back, which is the weakest point, and then you could see the cavity start to go down as you see some flesh fly off, and then you could see the hair react there shortly afterwards. You see the chain snapped. Again, without the upper chest portion of the dummy, and without the correct trajectory, we don't have a mirrored result of the chain movement. Cavitation you see from the side angle is what explains the shirt puffing in the back first. So Charlie struck in the back of his hairline first. That expansion blows his shirt up in the back, which is the result of what we saw on camera. And this is the exact explanation for how that happened. Even though the trajectory wasn't 100% correct, you can still see that cavitation happen. You see the chain snap immediately. You see the violent motion of the chain flying up. Again, even with the wrong trajectory, all these things are still happening.
This video definitely builds on what I found. Just the shot itself is not going to inflate the shirt and create that cavitation, right? I just wish they would have done the shot from the front to see if it lined up with what the FBI reported. If we don't have a control or the official shot to compare it with, there's not much we can do. Because would we have seen that same expansion from the front at 160 yards? Hey, I was guilty of this too with my first ballistics test. I just had one skull to test on. We've got to compare the officially reported shot from the front at 160 yards from Tyler Robinson, allegedly. We have to compare that to a side shot. I mean, $3,000 just for a ballistic dummy gel torso with a head. Sheesh.
This is another angle of the front shot filmed with the iPhone at 240 frames per second at 720p. Again, you see that extreme cavitation happen from the temporary wound cavity. You see that ballistic gelatin stretching out as the projectile passes through.
I will say with the audio test we did in one of my last videos, a 5.56 and AR-15, not loud enough. Even if you was shot from the side, I still think it was a high-powered rifle. I don't think it was 5.56. I really don't. I stand behind my original assessment that it was not the lapel microphone. That magnet would not have stayed stuck on his shirt. On a clean white shirt, there would have been at least some remnants of a muzzle blast or explosion. I'd love to get together with Range Day Bro. I will foot the bill if we want to do some ballistic tests on an actual full torsoed ballistic dummy. People might say, why do you care so much? Or why are you profiting off of someone's death? I was there at UVU that day when Charlie was shot. And a lot of the other men there, especially those with firearms experience, military, police, etc., it almost feels like a duty to find out what really happened. I don't know if it's for closure, to reveal the lies around Charlie's death, or if this is just the way we cope. While this might be one of my last videos about the Charlie Kirk assassination, I pray that Charlie lives on in all of us. I'll be going to the Hope for America event here in Utah at UVU on November 16th. If you're local or want to travel in, we're going to be meeting up at Southtown Mall at 4 p.m. for a tailgate, and then joining a convoy to go down to UVU. The Hope for America event is free. You just need to register at their website. I will put the link in the description down below. We'll be there with Kish from Utah Patriots and the MAGA boys that I recently met. They'll be driving down in their MAGA bus. It's going to be a great time. It's a free event. Hope to see you there.